But hashtags are to social media what keywords are to blogs.
Oh, exactly.
And people get so narrow focused on this, like, this is all I need to do. And question yourself, like, step back, like, what do you want this piece of marketing to achieve for you?
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Law Firm Marketing Minute. As always, I'm your host, Smike, and I've got the entire marketing team with me today. We've got Eddie.
Hello.
And Sarah.
Hello.
You've obviously known them both because they've both been on the podcast. Eddie used to be on it regularly.
Yeah, you kicked me off.
Yeah,
I got voted off the island.
I mean, you know, it was purely a capacity thing. Right?
Oh yeah, that doesn't make it any easier to take, but I appreciate it.
It is Thanksgiving week when you're listening to this, so we have a little topic that we came up with in terms of keyword stuffing. And what does stuffing remind you of? Thanksgiving dinner. So we're going to talk about keyword stuffing, overstuffing your bird.
Question: Do you actually like stuffing?
I do.
I love stuffing.
I've never liked it.
Do you like stuffing in the bird or out the bird though?
Oh, out the bird.
Out the bird?
Yeah.
It's not really stuffing. It's just stuff.
It is just stuff.
Yeah. I've never liked stuffing. I think it's a vile food. I'm not even sure what it is. What is it? Bread?
It's bread.
It's breading. Yeah. And then.
I'd rather just eat
and
toast.
Seasoning.
Yeah, I'm all set. I'm good.
Yeah.
I like it in the bird though.
Yeah, I think there's also like little bits of sausage or something in there. Or something
You could.
Like that.
You could put all kinds of stuff in it.
Oh yeah, sausage. What a clean meat that is. And we're very excited not to eat stuffing this year. Thank you.
Speaking about a pure meat there, let's talk about pure blogs. And Eddie's obviously the one who writes a lot of our blogs. He writes the blogs for Spotlight, but he also is the copywriter for a lot of our clients. Eddie, when it comes to, creating the blogs, and we're talking about keywords specifically, what are like the things that you're keeping an eye on, you're making sure that you don't do?
So truth be told, I was actually an SEO copywriter before coming to Spotlight Branding. So yeah, I know.
You came over from the dark side.
The dark side. So I have done this, and so a lot of what I don't do now is what I used to do a lot of. And I mean, one of the things with SEO is keywords, and that's just one of many. And we'll talk about like the sort of myth surrounding keywords and how if you just pack your blogs full of certain phrases, it's going to work. Well, if it was that easy, everyone would do it, and because it is easy, everyone does do it. So it almost cancels each other out. Keywords is just one element of maybe 20 different things that SEO people do. And that alone is just not going to get you on the first page of Google, not even if you'd even want to be on the first page of Google. That's a separate topic. So I'm trying, when you write something, it's just every sentence is a reason for someone to walk away. And a lot of times when I did get SEO phrases from the SEO team in my old job, they were nonsensical. It was like, imagine you go to get a referral to an attorney and you show up to his office or her office for a consultation and they speak nothing but pig Latin. It's
what's an example of something that like they gave you that right?
But it was a matter because they were pulling phrases that were landing, but there was no question or concern about syntax, about the order of the words, get this into a sentence. It's like get it into a sentence this. I mean,
and don't you have like a certain number of times that you have to put it in?
Yeah.
Into the, like some people would have a standard, like it needs to be put in 20 times or something ridiculous.
It was usually based on the word count. So, I mean, there was a very fine line because, I mean, overstuffing your bird or overstuffing a blog full of keywords, even if you are an SEO copywriter, if you do it too frequently per the word count, it'll have a negative impact on your Google rating. Mm-hmm. So you're trying, and by the way, nobody knows what Google's algorithm is. I mean, everybody guesses. And they make 5 to 6 major changes a year that do impact keywords. And beyond that, they make probably 500 to 600 minor changes, not in those necessarily impact keywords, but Google is constantly changing. And we don't know. So you're trying to gamble and guess. But yeah, it's showing up to the guy speaking pig Latin sometimes.
It's like the same thing on social media too when it comes to like hashtags. Like especially like Instagram, like the one of the main people of his name escapes me right now of Instagram. I think it's a Masari or something like that. He does a lot of updates, and one of the most recent ones he basically said, hey, like hashtags are really not a thing anymore. But people still have this idea that, oh, if I stuff my post, my caption with all these hashtags, like it's gonna pop up so many places, I'm gonna get so many views and this and that. And it's like, no.
Yeah. And you should also do hashtag research if you're gonna do hashtags.
True.
And make sure that these have relevant numbers behind them and don't just put a bunch of crap.
Yeah, and it's coming to the point where, like, specifically to Instagram, it's coming to the point where you can still follow hashtags on Instagram, but they're actually removing that feature pretty soon. So it's like you can't even tap into that. Like if someone's following a hashtag.
But hashtags are to social media what keywords are to blogs.
Oh, exactly.
And people get so narrow focused on this, like this is all I need to do. And question yourself, like step back, like what do you want this piece of marketing to achieve for you? I mean, it's not keywords.
Who are you trying to get in front of as well?
Right. And so I mean, even like I've said this to new copywriters, and they come in. I'm like, imagine you're on the highway, you see an amazing billboard, it's beautiful, amazing food on it. You're like, I'm gonna go to that restaurant because I'm friggin' hungry. And then, nice job.
That's the lunch bell.
Yeah. So you pull off the highway because wow,
there
2 for 2. You pull off the highway. Let's go for 3. Let's pull off the highway, and you show up in the restaurant, and it's infested with rats, and there's no food there, right? The billboard got you to the restaurant, but unless the restaurant can deliver on said promise and give you something of substance, why are you going to stay there? And that's what keywords and overstuffing keywords on blogs. Maybe if you do 20 other SEO things correctly and you get in the first page of Google, they'll click on it. But if it's a bunch full of gibberish and pig Latin and jumbled sentences, who's going to stay? And who's going to trust you to be their legal advisor?
You're going to lose credibility.
Instantly.
Hey there, we're going to get right back to the episode in just a few seconds here, but I wanted to share this opportunity that's exclusive for podcast listeners, or if you're watching on YouTube, exclusive to you as well. If you book a strategy session with us using the link in the podcast description or YouTube description, in the notes section, all you got to do is type LFMM for a Law Firm Marketing Minute. And if you decide that we're a great fit and we decide you're a great fit for us, you'll have no monthly payments until January 2025. Pretty crazy. So go ahead and check the description. All right, let's get right back to the episode.
And Google has even said that they, like the latest article I read, they said they are going to favor anything that's human written, that is of value, that people are going to get something out of, and not just SEO.
Is that
so? They're starting to change their algorithms to human written and not SEO stuffing.
Is that also like combative to AI, like the rise of AI? Like
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously gonna hurt those who are very SEO driven. But it's also, it seems like the main point is probably to combat AI written.
Both.
Yeah.
Because you don't want just gibberish, with a whole bunch of SEO words. Yeah.
Gibberish.
It's gibberish.
Yeah, Sarah's got it. We can add that to list of words.
Say schedule.
Schedule.
Yeah, there it is again. You'll never forget Sarah's voice after hearing gibberish.
But I mean, to that point, like I feel like, especially right now, like AI. So we just had the AI webinar, obviously, and one of the things that we talked about was how AI is basically constantly learning, and I feel like we're still in that phase where people are very SEO keyword driven when they write anything. So I feel like it's still learning. So even if you were to create a blog purely from AI, you were to copy and paste it, I'm sure it's just full of like it's SEO driven. So it's just complete crap.
It's finding that balance between human and making AI work for you. AI can work for you so much in research and in so many other ways, but not to write your blogs and not to SEO stuff and do those kinds of things. That's not what I don't think it's good. It's used for in the right way.
Yeah. What was Fanny talking about earlier in the click? What was that?
Fanny was talking about, what was she talking about?
Is this the zero click?
No, that was my response to it.
Yeah, it's something.
Fanny was talking about because a lot of we use lead magnets, and people use lead magnets on their website. They have ebooks, longer form PDFs of information, and if you've ever gone to Google recently and you type in a question, you're probably not getting a website. The first thing you're going to get is an AI generated response that answers your question, and for many people, myself included, like that's good enough.
Yeah.
I don't need to click on 9 different websites and scroll through and find the information, especially when it's that readily available. So Fanny was saying there's now a link that, I mean, people are getting used to getting information faster and more condensed. So they necessarily want shorter answers. They want lead generation tools that are short and quick and precise and save time versus longer form, which is interesting.
It changes the strategy too, from having that long form SEO to answering a question quickly that it will pop up in the 0-click, and then possibly if that person is interested, or if they see an answer that is relevant to the question that they asked, and they're like, oh, I want to know more, then they click through. But the 0-click is giving short form quick answers, and then you're sort of hoping that if they continue that research that you're gonna show up there.
So basically it's just completely negating any kind of SEO efforts, really.
Well, no, because I think that there's still there are people who want to know more. It depends on the topic, and I think within like law and the legal industry, if I'm researching, how to get a divorce, or how to get out of whatever, like I've gotten in trouble, I need to know. I've never dealt with those things before, so it'll be brand new to me. I'm gonna want to know a lot of information, and I'm probably gonna spend a lot more time than just what's the net worth of Elon Musk or something.
Yeah.
Then I just want the answer.
But even so, like, do you think that it's like already shifted, or maybe shifting towards less time spent? So like, for example, like the rapid rise of TikTok was because it was very short form. Obviously they've expanded it since then, but it was very short form because people were able to get very digestible bits.
That's scary.
It's almost like the younger generation, they don't want to spend that time.
Yeah.
So, and they're the ones up and coming, so they maybe don't want to spend that time to actually go through and look.
I think we've all been sort of conditioned now to a lot less time on everything. It's like I'm going through reels quickly. I don't even spend the full, if a reel is 60 seconds, allow 60 seconds. Then
long time.
Nobody like in Trinidad time. nobody sits and watches the whole thing for 60 seconds anymore. It's like, I get it. If it's funny, maybe, or if it's worth it. But it's kind of, I get it in the first 5 seconds, and it's like, keep going.
Well, that's, I think, to go back to what Eddie said before, it's when crafting the blog, it's about really finding out how to get the person to keep on reading. So Eddie, to that point, what are like some of the things that keeps readers on reading without being, I guess, sensational?
You're answering the questions. I mean, so you can't pad things with hypotheticals. Like, I remember reading someone's blog a long time ago about child support, and the first paragraph is about like this hypothetical fictional scenario about the child asking for more money or needing new shoes. And then there was really elaborate, they had like fake dialogue in there. Like, I don't need that. Like, I'm not reading.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Like,
that's so weird.
Yeah, I know. It is like they were creating a hypothetical situation. I'm like, I don't need this right now. I'm not reading a book. Like, I'm my assets are on the line.
Yeah.
I'm going through a divorce and I need answers. Am I going to lose my house? Like, how does that get divided? Can I refinance, buy my spouse out, or vice versa? Like, I want friggin' answers. And like, I mean, I think with anyone that's an attorney, or anyone that is an attorney, that's what your people want. I mean, even with the AI response, when it's short, that's not enough to set them at ease. There's too many. I mean, regardless of what it is, whether it's estate planning, family law, personal injury, there's too much there to get it in one hit. So you want to scroll through. You're looking for subheadings. You're looking for things that are going to connect with you. You're looking for bolded lines that stand out. And like, so, because again, people don't even necessarily sit down and read blogs. They scroll through them. They read a couple of sentences and they peruse.
Yeah, there's on TikTok, I know it's on TikTok, I'm not too sure about the other platforms right now, but on TikTok there's a feature to speed through the video. So it's like,
really?
so it still has a sound to it. So it's like, if someone's like explaining something, you can still understand them, but it speeds up the video. So even for the short formed content that's already short formed and already meant to be quick,
you want to get it
people
quicker.
are holding on and like just speeding through it.
My ex-girlfriend would watch Love is Blind with the remote control in her hands, and she'd fast forward it.
I would fast forward through the whole thing.
Understandably,
but I mean, actually, not even watch
she listened to like 3 lines, like this conversation is irrelevant. Fast forward to the next. Okay, so this is interesting. Wow. Fast forward, and it's like and I mean, ironically, strange enough, you could kind of get what was going on with their fast forwarding.
Hey, let me save everyone the time. People got together. They thought they could find true love on a game show, and it just didn't happen. Bada bing, bada boom.
On WhatsApp, there's a feature when you send a voice note to speed it up. You can speed it up 1.5 and then 2. I always have it on 2, except for when my husband sends me a message, because he speaks really fast anyway. So I have to slow it down. But everybody else, I'm like, give it to me quicker.
Well, watch TV tonight. If you're listening to this, watch TV tonight. No matter what show you're watching, count how many seconds there are before a screen cut. On average now, it's about 4 seconds. So even though you're watching a show, you're going to cut about.
That's the same thing for social media. Same thing is that the quick cuts from back. Like that's why the way TikTok is set up.
I don't understand that, by the way.
Well, so basically, like for TikTok, I keep bringing up TikTok because
Yeah, you love TikTok today.
Yeah. So for TikTok, it's like you have when you're recording, you can hold the record or press the record button, and then you press it again to stop.
Right.
And it's like you're saying a sentence, they cut. Saying a sentence. That's why, like, a lot of times they'll say, "Hey, change the background like every few seconds or whatever to just
keep it interesting.
Keep them not even interesting, but just like I think it just re-engages the viewer.
It's what we're used to in terms of television and movies. I mean, what I'm saying is, if I was filming you and Mike talking, I would not have the camera on you for more than 4 seconds. I would cut to Mike and then cut back to you.
These transitions are
jumps.
quicker.
It's not scene cuts. It's like it's so if you ever watch an old movie like Chinatown, it's one big pan. Like I am bored out of my mind, and it's like Chinatown's awesome. But if you watch old movies, people get really bored because there's no scene cuts. But yes, people want really quick information right now. We kind of gone down the rabbit hole for like really quick information.
No, but that's really interesting.
That's the world.
Because I love old movies. Like when I say old, like the 80s.
That's not old.
That's not old.
It's old. Come on.
I love like 1930s, 1940s movies.
We're talking about like Casablanca here. We're not talking about.
I've watched Casablanca.
Weekend at Porky's.
It has. No, but some of that. So I get my daughter to watch them. She's 12, and she loves scary movies. So we're like, well, you have to watch The Exorcist. It's like it's a must.
It's the 70s, but
she was bored out of her mind. Well, we made her watch like Gremlins and Back to the Future and those kinds of ones, and she's kind of like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, maybe that's why she's used to this sort of quick information, fast transitions, and these things they're a bit long.
Yeah.
The Exorcist has these long scenes.
And people aren't equipped to handle it anymore.
That's interesting.
So but regardless, like blogs, social media, everything we're talking about still works. I mean, you just have to go with that in mind. I mean, and it's even more important. I mean, if you're just padding keywords and it's a bunch of gibberish and it's just a big pile of text, I mean, people are going to look at that and get turned off really quickly.
So let's wrap this up here, Eddie. Give us the insight for blogs specifically. I can kind of touch on social media a little bit of what are the best practices for writing a blog.
Think about the questions you get on an everyday basis from your clients. Think about the times that people find out you're an attorney and they corner you in a room and they say, hey, I got this question. The other way to think about it is this. If you had a room full of your dream clients and you had a microphone, what would you want to tell them? I mean, all 3 of those are great answers to what you should write about. If it's professional and it provides value, i.e. information, then it's going to work every time because someone's going to get referred to them. They're going to land on that page because SEO is basically hoping someone gets there by luck. We're hoping you get there through a referral, and then we reinforce that referral. You bolster your credibility and trust by reading something that speaks to your credibility and trust, not just something that speaks to Google.
Yeah. So for social media, just real quick, a wasted second is a wasted viewer, really, because a wasted second could get someone to swipe away. So there's different elements to it, whether it's presenting new information, whether it's posing a question that you then answer, or whether it's you have some sort of element of shock value or like entertainment value. We're not saying that you need to go down that path, but just keep in mind when you're creating social media content to make sure that every second is accounted for, basically.
Yeah.
That's kind of like on a perfectionism kind of side, and like that's kind of like me, so that makes that can make the people kind of cringe a little bit, but it's worth it.
At the end of the day, I think both of you are both saying you're writing content for the people, for your target audience. You're not writing content for Google. You're not writing content for Meta, for Facebook to show you up. You're writing content to be valuable.
Yeah, that's right. All right, and everyone out there listening, appreciate you all listening. Hey, I appreciate you guys, the three of us. Woo, marketing, woohoo!
Hey, by the way, I said Weekend at Porky's. It's Weekend at Bernie's and
Right?
Porky's. That's two separate 80s movies.
What the heck
I
is
thought
it?
you did that on purpose.
I kind of did, and I was like, someone's listening, they're going to accuse me of messing up my 80s movies, and Porky's and Weekend at Bernie's are two very different movies.
Okay,
which
so
are
I thought you did that on purpose. That's why I didn't say anything.
I did, but I was like, and now I'm like hating. It's like, what if they thought I was serious? I messed up two gems of movies. But
Good job.
if you are listening, please leave us a review. We're trying to grow the podcast, and one of the ways that happens is if people leave reviews. You can talk about who is the better of the three of us, not just doing.
And who had the best accent?
Definitely not Eddie, because he's from Boston.
gibberish.
Have a great weekend. We will see you next week. Peace.